What's up, guys? My name's Kiana and welcome back to my corner. Hello, if this is your first time ever seeing my face and coming to my YouTube channel, my name is Kiana and this is my YouTube channel. I predominantly post vlogs. I have a few shorts. I have a few other things on my channel. Don't remember what they are because it's been a long time. I think my most recent video was me sharing my story with my mental health journey, and that's predominantly what my YouTube channel really is about, is just sharing my experiences and trying to create, a rapport with people who also suffer with mental illness or know somebody who does. I suck at posting because I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a creator, that's not my main goal in life, but I do want to get back on YouTube and start posting more, and I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm very nervous to be doing the things that I've decided to do, but I'm just going to dive right into it. Please bear with me in this new lighting situation, and this will not be where I film the videos. Today, it was just the most convenient spot for me, and that's just where we are today, so here we are. What I want to start doing on my channel is a segment called Tuesday Talks, and basically every Tuesday we'll talk almost like, kind of like set up in the format of like a podcast. I don't have the equipment to make these elaborate videos, and my vlogs are just very mundane and just dry and boring, and I'm aware of that, but it's just the easiest thing to do. So I decided maybe to take a break from that and try something new. I like to talk, I like to share my opinion on things, so I figured why not start a YouTube channel where we talk about controversial topics. I'm very scared to do that, and talk about current events and things like that. I love to watch those types of YouTube videos and listen to those types of podcasts, so I figured maybe that would be a good thing for me to do too. We'll see how it goes. This is what I'm going to do now, Tuesday Talks, and hopefully you guys will, people, I don't say you guys, I don't even know who's watching this, hopefully whoever's watching this, you're enticed by it, you want to be a part of it, and you'll interact, as in liking and commenting what you want me to talk about. Each week I'm going to hope that you comment on my YouTube channel and tell me the things that you want me to talk about, like if there's an event going on in the news that you would like me to talk about, if there's a controversial thing you want me to share my opinion about, just let me know in the comments. That's what I want to do. I do want to set a disclaimer. These are going to be my opinions on a lot of things. Some of it's going to be factual and some of it's going to be some of my opinions on things that I have either heard about in the news. I don't want to say the news. I would say mostly around like the internet and stuff. And then it's going to be just how I view the situation and my opinion on it. So usually with controversial topics, it's controversial because sometimes your opinion doesn't match the mass majority of people's, and people find that controversial or like taboo. But I think the great thing about America and the world is a part of us all being different people in this world is we can have our own opinions about things, whereas a lot of people will share the same opinion about stuff. Some people might not always agree with those people. Like, one thing I can think of is like UFOs and aliens. Some people are like, no, there's no way. And other people are like, oh my gosh, it's so real. So you never know. This week, my first topic is going to be about the internet and the dangers of the internet. I decided to talk about this because this has been something that I've been becoming more woke to. I don't really like to use that term. It makes me sound too political, but it's just what I'm going to use for it to make sense. Growing up, I used to be obsessed with watching family vlogging channels. When I was a kid, that was literally my dream, was to grow up and create a successful family YouTube channel. And I don't think early on, like between 2010 and 2018, I don't think most people seen the problem in that. And it was a really big time. But then, recently there's been a lot of people who have been turning off their YouTube channels. There's people who have been completely giving up on YouTube, and there's been not like YouTube itself, but like vloggers, family YouTubers who have completely walked away from the YouTube scene, or they've taken their kids off the internet. And that's basically what I want to talk about, is putting your kids on the internet, whether it's YouTube, having your kids have social media, your kids having access to certain things. That's kind of what I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about it from a standpoint of somebody who doesn't have kids, so I can only say so much. But if you do have kids and you relate to some of this, or you have an opinion about some of this, be more than happy to comment below. I want this to be an interactive thing where people can share their comments, but I also don't want it to be a nasty thing where people are arguing in the comments about each other's opinions or attacking me. That's another thing I'm nervous about doing this, is I don't want what my opinions on things are to become people attacking me because they don't agree with me. 9 times out of 10, what somebody is saying you don't agree with, and that's okay. We're not supposed to always all have the same thoughts. But just agreeing to disagree with somebody is the best thing to do. Attacking them about their character or about what they're saying isn't always the best route. So please try to keep things really nice and friendly if you're going to comment. I don't even know where this is going to go. This will probably get like 5 views and nobody's going to care about it, or it can become a really great thing. We never know. But just in case, I wanted to make that disclaimer. I'm going to shut up now and get into what I want to talk about. So let's get into it. For some reason, I've been watching a lot of true crime and stuff and alien stuff, and I'm filming in my mom's room and her bathroom door is open and it's dark in there. So I'm going to go shut the door because for some reason it's just sketching me out. So hold on. Okay, we're going to continue. I don't know. I just talked so much. I don't remember if I addressed the lighting situation. I want it to be a cool, calm, vibey thing. This is the lighting situation for now. I'm sorry if you don't like it. I'm going to try to fiddle with it and mess with it, so please just bear with me. What I want to start today's video off talking about for this week's topic, for this week's Tuesday talk, is the dangers of the internet, specifically the dangers of having your children on the internet. I think the big thing that most people don't realize is we do not own our children. So, like I said, I'm speaking of a standpoint of not having children and not being a mother, but I have witnessed so much on the internet and listened to a lot of parents speak. So this is just based off of observation and just things that I have seen in observation. I think a lot of times people think they own their children. And I'm not judging anybody who actually has that mindset like, this is my child and they'll do whatever I say. But I think a lot of people think, oh, well, this is my child, so I can expose them or put them in front of whatever because it's my prerogative. Whereas, yes and no. I think making decisions for your children is part of being a parent, but also trying to figure out the right decisions probably is hard as a parent. But if there's something as a parent that you just know probably isn't the best thing for your child, but you're doing it because it might benefit you, that's the problem. So there's a lot of people on YouTube who post their kids to the internet. There's been people doing this for years, and it's called family vlogging. And it's been a very big thing that's taken the world by storm for many years. But I think the past year or two, people have really woke up to see that it's not probably the best thing to do, and it's not beneficial to anyone except for your wallet and predators. So there's a lot of YouTube channels that have surfaced the past year or so that have talked about the dangers of vlogging your children or posting your kids on the internet or having your young children have social media or access to it. I think it's a very controversial topic to talk about because some people think, sheltering your children makes them want to explore more. There's a difference between monitoring and sheltering. If you're completely trying to keep your child away from the internet, then that's unrealistic, especially we're halfway through 2023. We're pretty far advanced technologically. That's going to be impossible. But sheltering and monitoring are two different things. I think having your 12-year-old have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok is probably not the best idea, but can you keep your children from doing these things? No. So the best thing to do is, if they have access to it, to make sure that you're able to monitor it. As a parent, like I said, you shouldn't have to control every aspect of your child's life. There should be some type of independency through your child's life so they can learn how to navigate the world on their own. That way, when they are on their own, they're not always looking for mom and dad to do things for them or whoever their guardian is. But you do, to an extent, need to be able to monitor what they're doing and who they're talking to. There's so many horror stories of people who have had no idea what their children were doing on the internet, and either really bad things have happened to people because their children were on the internet talking to predators, or almost really bad things have happened. So monitoring and sheltering. Being sheltered is two different things. When I used to grow up and I used to know kids who were homeschooled, I would ask them why they were homeschooled because I could never imagine not going to school. I sucked at school. I was bullied all day long, but I could never imagine not going to school. And a lot of them, it was like a religious thing. And then some parents just didn't want their kids to be exposed to the things that kids talked about, or the things that kids knew. They didn't want their kids to be a part of it. To a certain extent, I understand, but you cannot keep your kid. Your kid eventually is going to be an adult. There's only so much you can keep from your children. That's why I say trying to control every aspect of what your child is exposed to is not going to work. You have to be able to let them know these things are in the world and how to navigate them once they are exposed to it or once they have knowledge of it. So social media, for instance, I think in today's age is so ridiculous, and I'm only 25 years old. I grew up in the early 2000s, and I'm so grateful for my childhood because I grew up in a generation where we did have technology, but it was just kind of starting to take off. It wasn't like this big explosive thing as it is now. So I had a regular old childhood. I was outside riding my bike till the street lights came on. We played freeze tag, we played hide and seek in the dark, we pulled pranks, we went ding dong ditching, we did all that stuff. We played outside, we played with toys, we used our imaginations, all of that stuff. But now all I see is Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite. All this technology, which, like I said, there's pros and cons. I think the pro to technology is the obvious. It's nice to have it. A video game is fun to play. Social media, you can access family members and friends from across the world that you don't have access to in your city or your country. Keeping up with family members and friends who you can't talk to on a daily basis, them posting pictures, you get to interact with them. That's a pro. And I think that's what social media was initially supposed to be. But then then there was cyberbullying, and then that was a big issue. And then I really don't think that there's a big enough push on trying to solve that either. I think that's still a problem in today's world. There became these YouTube channels that were huge and explosive. And in the beginning, I think everybody felt as if they were innocent. Like, yes, we're going to post this YouTube video and we're going to introduce ourselves and our 5-month-old baby. And from 5 months to like 10 years old, their whole life is going to be on a video camera for anybody in the whole entire world to see. Filming your child doing certain things like learning how to walk, losing their first tooth, going to their first dance, things like that are innocent to you, but posting that on the internet, that could sometimes maybe be, the window for the wrong person to have access to your child. Those things are fine and dandy, and if you want to film them for like a memory, that's fine, but it doesn't necessarily need to be posted on the internet. Filming your daughter having her first period, learning how to shave her legs, getting her first bra, I think those are things that a lot of YouTubers have posted about their children, and I don't understand why you would want the whole entire world to have access to that knowledge of your children. Like, I just don't understand that. That is something I remember watching family vloggers back when I was younger and loving it. It was a world that I was immersed in and thought I wanted to be a vlogger, and I'm so glad. I still do want to be a YouTuber and vlog, but I'm so glad I decided family vlogging is not okay, and it does kind of give access to predators. I mean, the internet is so crazy. Anybody can pretend to be a good person on the internet. You can be whoever you want to be on the internet. And if you are putting your children on the internet, children who cannot give consent to you putting their business out there, I just hate that. Putting your children on the internet without them being able to consent to you. If your 8-year-old says, yes, you can put my mental breakdown on the internet for people to see, they don't understand what you're exactly doing. They don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to know that there are billions upon billions of people who can have access to watching your 8-year-old have a meltdown over something that's probably stupid but normal for 8-year-olds to do. For them, that gives them a window for people to judge your parenting or to judge the way this child reacts. It could give a window for people to bully them when they get older, to look back and be like, remember when you were 8 years old crying like a baby? I mean, yes, we do have a very sensitive world, whatever. But at the same time, it's not sensitive enough. And so allowing your children to be on the internet and not knowing what they're doing on the internet is very dangerous. Just being dumbfounded like, oh, I've taught my teenager not to do these things, and just expecting them to always know what to do in a situation is stupid. It's ignorant. There are so many parents who post their children on the internet, and I'm not talking about like on Facebook posting a picture. That can be dangerous, but I'm talking about the family vlogging channels who film from the minute the baby is born in the operating room or in the delivery room to their graduation from high school, and they film milestones like, like I said, filming your daughter getting her first bra or her first period. I just think those things, Okay, those are huge normal milestones. We don't need to put those on YouTube or TikTok or anything. Those are normal things that a healthy female will experience. You don't need to put that on there for everybody to know, oh, her first period, her first bra. That is, if my mom filmed that, if we went to the store, my mom filmed me picking out a bra, it was already embarrassing enough in public. I was afraid I was going to like see my friends because one, I developed a lot later than some of the other girls I went to school with. So I'm like, they're all wearing double D's and I'm over here in my training bra. Like, I think that's embarrassing. Like, don't do that. Please, please. That is not a life goal to have your children on the internet. Please do not let that be your life goal. And if it is, please figure something else out because you're setting your kids up to be prey for predators by doing that. That is disgusting. Don't do that. I can't understand it. I think that the internet has set up young teenagers and young kids to have a very unrealistic look on life. You don't have to really have a real job these days. A 14-year-old could turn on the camera on TikTok, do a dance, and be famous and never have to work a day in their life and only do TikTok. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I'm not jealous, okay, because I work my booty off, and that's what I'd rather do. I'd rather work hard doing manual labor than turn on the camera and just make money because I'm talking about something or because I made a viral video and now people just like me because of that one video. Just the people's views on things these days, it really is weird to me because, like I said, we are very sensitive these days, but we're also not sensitive enough. And I think that when it comes to our children, we should be a little bit more sensitive to what we allow them to do and what we can control them from being exposed to. Like I said in the beginning, you can't control what your kid is exposed to. They're going to get exposed to it eventually. So giving them the knowledge prior is the most important thing. But trying to keep them from it obviously is not going to work. That's going to probably make them want to do it more because of temptation and curiosity. But if you have the power to keep your kids off the internet, as if you're not posting, like if you're a YouTuber and your whole brand is to be a YouTuber, like you've been a YouTuber for 20 years and all of a sudden you decide to have a child, you do not owe your subscribers your child, if that makes sense. Just because you've had these subscribers, you have 20 million subscribers, and you have a baby, does not mean you have to now have your baby on the internet. Don't think you don't have to owe your subscribers anything. There are people on the internet that you don't even know that, yes, they support you and you probably wouldn't be where you are without them, but that doesn't mean you owe them your baby. You don't owe them your child's future by putting them on the internet. I could go on and on all day about kids being on the internet and family vlogging channels, but there's so many other people on YouTube that cover that, and that's kind of like their thing that they do. And I don't want to get too in depth on it because you can find other YouTube channels that discuss it and go into greater detail and discuss certain channels who are disgusting that I now have my eyes open to. But that's just my topic for the day. And then I also just want to discuss briefly a situation that's been going on the internet for a couple weeks now, almost a month. And I want to share my opinion, and disclaimer, it's going to be a little controversial, but I just want to discuss some things. So as everybody knows, if you pay attention to the internet, Colleen Ballinger is in a lot of heat right now because a past fan who is now claiming to be a victim of grooming and other things from her has spoke out about some things that happened in like 2016 or like moons ago. He brought this back up. He made a YouTube or 20 about it and has continued to kind of make what he went through with her his new kind of like personality. Now listen, I do not disregard what she did whatsoever because all of the things that have been brought to the light look really bad for her, and everybody's like, oh, she's being silent. That shows that she's guilty. But I think the best thing to do is to probably be silent because there's nothing you can really say to fix something like that, so you might as well just not say anything. Again, if you're in something like that where you're being accused of something super illegal, it's probably best to stay silent because you're going to probably have a lawyer that's telling you don't say anything. She's probably being told not to say anything. Then she did her apology video. It is what it is. If she would have did a regular one, it wouldn't have been good enough. Then she sang and it wasn't good enough. It doesn't matter. She's a celebrity, so it doesn't matter what she does. Nobody's going to be happy. That's how it works in the celebrity world. But anyway, I'm not condoning it. I'm just speaking facts. I don't think either party is handling the situation well at all. I think her disregarding the fact that people were hurt by her actions is wrong, and people continuing to talk about the situation to gain clout by using her name in their YouTube title. If you put Colleen Ballinger as your title of your YouTube video, you're going to get views. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because her name is a big household name. So you know what you're doing when you type out that YouTube title and it says her name in it. You know what you're doing. So I really think the person who first spoke up about things and created this big ball of fire right now, who made at least 6 or 7, maybe more videos using her name in it, and continuing to use this situation, in my opinion, as a way to gain attention. I don't think maybe that was the intention in the beginning, but noticed what a big snowball it made, and so they just kind of took it and ran with it. Whatever, do what you gotta do to get money, honey, whatever. I think that if you really want to cancel somebody, and if what she did was so terrible and you're affected by it, take it off the internet. Call the police, get the police involved, get a lawyer, talk to some legal people, and leave it off the internet. Because I think bringing it to the internet, you're just kind of, it just doesn't look good for either one of any of the people involved. And now it's to the point where people are just constantly talking about her and digging into her past to find other things to bring up to make her a problem. In my opinion, if you really want her canceled and you really want her off the scene, then stop talking about her. Every time I scroll on my YouTube page, it's Colleen Ballinger situation is now worse. Colleen Ballinger is racist. Colleen Ballinger did this. Colleen Ballinger did that. I'm like, if you are so upset with what she's doing, then why are you talking about her every single day? Because you're still making her relevant. Because you're discussing old YouTube videos of things that she did. You're giving people the fire to go back to her videos. If you really hate her that much, you're literally helping her get more clout right now. Even if it's not good attention, you're still giving it to her by constantly talking about her. So in the end, you're letting her win by constantly talking about her. So if you really want to cancel Colleen Ballinger, and I don't say that to sound like I'm disregarding it, but I feel like people are starting to really take the situation and use it for their own personal gain versus trying to spread awareness for something. And that's what's starting to ick me the most. Both people are icking to me. What she did completely wrong, and just ugh. And what people are doing, using the situation as a way to get their own clout, is ugh. It's all ugh to me. But if you really want her canceled so bad, why are you talking about her every single day? Like, drop it. Move on. Handle it outside of the internet and move on. And it has nothing to do with, condoning what she did. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like when was it Idaho murders happened, the college people? I think that was so traumatic and so crazy. It's probably one of the craziest, true crime things I've ever heard of. But it was in my news feed and in my YouTube recommendations so much I was tired of seeing it. And I know that the victims and the families were probably tired of every time they opened social media, somebody was sharing an update or talking about it. Maybe not. But I feel like people oversaturate and overtalk about topics sometimes. Move on to the next thing. Let's talk about something positive that's happening instead of murders and people possibly grooming children. Let's talk about something positive. Because if we're not going to actually spread awareness for something and we're just going to continue to talk about somebody just because we want to be gossip, what are we really doing? I just think everybody's making themselves look bad by just using her name. And that's really what it looks like. And that's why I said I'm going to kind of share my opinion. It's going to be controversial. But to me, it just looks like everybody's trying to use her name anymore instead of actually, I feel like we've lost why we brought it up in the first place. To spread awareness and to have her hold herself accountable. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday talk. I hope you come back next week for another one. Please comment your feelings and opinions about what I discussed today in the comments. Please remember to not make them rude or nasty. Keep them nice and kind and just share your opinions. If you disagree on something, totally fine, but just don't make it nasty and rude. Comment what you want me to talk about next Tuesday, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.